This tutorial will show you how to vote and earn with your veTHE position on Thena. If you do not already have at least one veTHE position, I would suggest that you begin by watching the tutorial on how to create a new veTHE position. You can find a link to this video in the video description. You can read much more detail about veTHE in Thena's docs. The link to the docs is in the video description. Or, you can use the documentation link from the menu on Thena's homepage. I will just go through a few key points to set the scene on using your veTHE voting power for voting and earning. veTHE holders can vote for gauges on a weekly basis. veTHE voters receive trading fees generated by the pool or pools they vote for, bribes deposited for the pools they vote for, and last but not least, a weekly veTHE distribution, also known as a rebase. With voting, you need to be aware of epochs. Each epoch lasts for 7 days, after which the bribes and trading fees are distributed. You earn only from the gauges, otherwise known as pools, you have voted for. Trading fees and bribes are claimable as a lump sum after the epoch has ended. You must vote weekly in order to be eligible for the fees and bribes, unless you use an optimizer when they become available. You can change or reset your vote at any time. What matters is your vote at the time of the epoch changeover. If you forget to vote, you lose the bribes and trading fees for the next epoch. There are plans to be able to pre-approve your vote for several weeks in advance. At the time of recording, this feature was not yet available. Right, you now have some background on why you need to use your veTHE to vote, and the ways you can earn. Let's now go through an example of using your veTHE position to vote on gauges. From your web browser, go to Thena.fi. You can then proceed to the vote screen by selecting the menu options across the top of the screen. The one you want to select is Vote. If you are performing these steps on a mobile device, or a device with a narrow screen, you may need to click on the icon in the top right corner with 3 lines. This would then present the same menu options you would see on a wider screen, similar to the options currently seen at the top of this screen. If you haven't already done so, connect your DeFi wallet. You should now be on the vote screen. This is where you can select your veTHE and use 100% of your votes for one or more pools to earn bribes and trading fees. First, I will just navigate around the page to highlight some of the key areas you need to be aware of. First, you can see the epoch timer. This is a countdown of when the current epoch will end and when the next epoch will begin. You need to make sure that you have voted before this timer ends, in order to receive the trading fees and bribes for the next epoch. Next is the Select veTHE menu. You can select your veTHE position here. If you have more than one veTHE position, this menu allows you to choose which veTHE position you want to use. Remember, if you have more than one veTHE position, you need to cast your vote for each veTHE position you hold. In this example, I have just one veTHE position, so I will leave that selected. The next area of importance is voting power used. If you have not cast your votes for the current epoch, it will show 0%. As you can see here, no votes have been cast for this veTHE position yet, for the current voting period. The APR on the vote page is calculated as bribes for the LP, plus trading fees for the LP, divided by total veTHE value voted for LP. You would receive the same APR proportional to your veTHE, allocated to the pool, for example, BUSD, the LP. Total votes represents the current veTHE voting power that has been allocated to the pool. The percentage value indicates the proportion of the total veTHE votes across all the pools. The rewards column shows the combined bribes and trading fee projections for each pool. When you hover your cursor over the reward, you can see a summary of the total bribes and projected fees. Your vote column indicates your vote allocation for the current epoch. If you have not cast your votes for the current epoch, it will still show 0% under voting power used. You need to make sure that you cast your vote each epoch to earn the bribes and trading fees. The values in the list can change quite frequently. Towards the end of the epoch, many people cast their votes. This can mean the APR for the pools can change quite significantly as more people cast their votes. There are numerous strategies you can apply to determine which pool or pools you want to vote on. The purpose of this tutorial, however, is simply to show how to cast your votes. For this example, I will allocate 50% voting power to the BUSD-VE pool, 30% to the BNB-BUSD pool and 20% to the USDC-BUSD pool. Towards the top of the screen you will now see a summary under Your Votes, as shown. This will help you to confirm the choices you have made and make sure it adds up to 100%. At this stage you haven't cast your votes yet. In this example, I have decided that I want to remove the USDC-BUSD pool from my vote. Click the X next to the USDC-BUSD pool to remove it from my votes. I can now allocate that 20% voting power to another pool of my choosing. For now, I am going to add it to the BNB-BUSD pool. I can do this by clicking on the Max button next to the BNB-BUSD pool in the list. You can now see the BNB-BUSD pool is using 50% of my veTHE voting power. When you are happy with your vote selection, click the Cast Votes button at the bottom of the page. You will then need to confirm the transactions in your DeFi wallet. When the transaction has completed, click on the Close button. You will now notice that voting power used is now 100%. You have now successfully cast your vote for the next epoch's emissions and trading fees. Now that my veTHE votes have been cast, I can provide a brief overview of the rewards page. The rewards page is where you can claim your veTHE rewards. You can find the rewards menu along the top of the screen. Right under the rewards heading is the Select veTHE menu. You can select your veTHE position here. If you have more than one veTHE position, this menu allows you to choose which veTHE position you want to use. Remember, if you have more than one veTHE position, you need to claim your rewards for each veTHE position you hold. To the right, you can see a heading called Total Claimable Rewards. Currently, there is nothing to claim. After the epoch changeover, I will come back to this page and show you what it looks like. Now, you can see an area here titled Current Epoch. This is where you can view and claim any rewards that you currently have available to claim. If I click Next Epoch, it changes the view so that it will show the gauges that I voted on for the previous epoch. After the current epoch changeover, these rewards will then become available to claim. After the epoch changeover, I will come back and show you how to claim the different veTHE rewards. You can now see that the epoch timer has reset after the changeover. This means that you can now proceed to the rewards page to claim your rewards from the previous epoch. You can find the rewards menu along the top of the screen as previously shown. First, double check that you have your veTHE position selected and that the current epoch toggle selected. You can see that there are a number of gauges with rewards that can be claimed. The gauges in the list now are the ones that were previously under the Next Epoch toggle. After the epoch changeover, these rewards are now claimable. While I am on that topic, I will briefly click on the Next Epoch toggle. Here you can see the gauges that I voted on just before the epoch changeover. These rewards will be claimable after the next epoch changeover. Also, in the How to Vote section, I only had 2 gauges selected. Immediately prior to the epoch changeover, I adjusted my vote. That is just to explain why it is a little different to what you previously saw. Okay, let's move back to the Current Epoch toggle. The 3 gauges will all have their respective bribes and fees available for claim. You can see the individual values under the reward column. When you claim the bribes and fees for the gauges you had voted for, the tokens will then be available in your DeFi wallet. Another item you will see is the veTHE distribution. This is the weekly rebase amount that you receive as a veTHE holder. When you claim the veTHE distribution, it is added to your existing veTHE position. When you are ready to claim your rewards, you can either do this by clicking the claim buttons individually next to each reward, or click the Claim All button towards the top of the screen. I am going to save some time and click the Claim All button. You will need to confirm the transactions in your DeFi wallet. When the transactions have completed, click on the Close button. This concludes the tutorial on how to vote and earn using your veTHE position.